Number 23, concentrate your forces. What this reminded me of, and I brought it out right here, is one of the books that we went over at this university is Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell. And the author of this little book, he relays a story of when he met Abraham Lincoln. And he was observing him in his study as when he was received. And the one characteristic that was evident of this leader, right? The one who led the global revolution against enslavement. And if you've ever seen the movie Lincoln, it's so good, where he says, you don't understand. We're stepping on a global stage with the decision that we're about to make in terms of abolishing slavery. Such a badass film. I think it was actually Daniel Day-Lewis who played him. I could be wrong on that, but I could be also very right. And that actor is amazing. There's a scene in, I can't put it in here because I'm going to get copyrighted. There's a scene in There Will Be Blood. It's like, drain it! If you have a milkshake and I have a milkshake. Okay, we're getting distracted. The point is, the one biggest takeaway that he had after meeting Abraham Lincoln was his ability to be present, to focus on a single task until it was complete before moving on to the next task. And that is the magnifying power of focus. So this law, concentrate your forces, it's going to talk about the world that we live in today, which is riddled with perpetual distraction, perpetual diffusion of otherwise concentrated focus, attention, energy, right? So if you're putting 40% effort into this, 30 into this, 20 into this, you're putting 100% of effort into nothing. So how do you expect it to succeed? How do you expect it to yield any fruit for you if you're doing half-assed measures across the board, right? So I'm going to start with a quote, and then we're going to get into it. Here we go. Focus and concentration is power. And then this was my commentary. I said, think of a magnifying glass, right? So the sun by itself, on an ant, harmless, right? It gives it a nice tan. You put a magnifying glass in between, and then the intensity is so strong that it's able to light that ant on fire. Okay, that is the best illustration I think anybody could, bring to bear within such a lecture, of the benefit, the direct result of concentrating your forces. So I want that illustration to be present in your mind. Let's start the lecture with that. Imagine a magnifying glass on your goals, right? And imagine you working towards your goals without such focus, without such attention to detail, without that kind of passion, what others will perceive as obsession. Okay. Obsession, there's a good quote, is a word the lazy use to describe the dedicated. So if you're getting criticized by other people, you're only getting criticized by people who are not doing more than you. Good rule of thumb to remember. So think of a magnifying glass able to elicit fire from pure intensity. And then Alex Hormozy has a mantra: one avatar, one platform, one product, one service. And it's the idea of focus. And I would do this mistake when I would, be working on marketing with my supplement company. I was like, okay, we need to be on fucking Snapchat, and then we need to be on Instagram, and then we need to be on YouTube, and then we need to be on, TikTok, and all these, apparatuses. Come to find out that I was doing a shitty job across all of them, rather than consistency and full commitment to one. So right now with these YouTube videos, I'm still cropping them, I'm still clipping them, and then putting those, highlight clips on my 2 Instagram profiles. But the full focus and the full dedication is on these lectures to completion every day. That's the idea of complete focus. And then the result, dude, you'll harness the power of compounding when you focus on one thing and just get really, really good at that one thing. And I learned this from Barbara. If you've ever seen the show Shark Tank, she said the way for success, the one roadmap, is choose whatever thing, whatever your niche is, and become the best at it. She said all the attention, the attraction, the money, all of that is inevitable. It's a given to the person at the top. And it does not matter what that field is. It could be anything. You could be that guy or girl in that niche. It does not matter what the craft is, but people are going to see the passion. I'll give you a good example. There was this guy who used to stream, I'm sure he still does, and he would stream chess. But the amount of passion and fucking excitement this guy had towards the moves that these players did, it made me so engaged. It made me so interested in fucking chess. And I was watching this, and he was getting thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, just by being consistent, focusing on a single thing, his one niche, which all he did, all he talks about, all he plays in his, when he's off camera, is this one thing, is chess. So you become the best at it, the best, feedback, review, commentator on chess games, tournaments, the whole gambit. No pun intended from Queen's Gambit, which is a chess move in a TV show. But that's the whole idea. One thing, whatever your thing is. So I want you to self-reflect right now. What is your one thing? What is a perfect litmus test? What would I do if money wasn't an issue? And how would I spend my time? What would I do if all my bills were taken care of? It's a perfect example. You say, hey Tarek, what would you do? I would make these videos. That's what I would do. I would read. That's what I'm doing. I would travel. Hey, that might be coming. What would you do if money wasn't an issue, if all your bills were taken care of? That is a very, very good path to locating what your excitement is. Your excitement is breadcrumbs towards your passion. Little breadcrumbs of your higher self, your future self, towards your purpose, your mission, your calling, what you feel called to do, what you would do for free. Then, when you put in so much work, what Grant Cardone in the 10X rule calls adding so much wood to your fire, which is just the idea of massive action, it won't feel like work. So you'll be putting in so much action that other people wouldn't bother to do because they're motivated by push motivation and you have pull motivation. Pull motivation is effortless. You're happy to get out of bed in the morning. You're excited, you're motivated, you're inspired. You can put an 8-hour day, a 16-hour day into something and it doesn't feel like that much work compared to the person who's dreading the 2 hours of work or the 4 hours of work. So you will separate yourself in whatever niche you're doing by miles with just mere consistency. This is a perfect example of what I'm doing in this university. There's no rush. It's one law at a time, one law per day, right? My morning routine, I'm reading anywhere from like 4 to 8 pages at most, right? From the law. And then I do all my transcription. That's my lesson plan, right? Then I'm going to the gym. Then I'm coming back, getting ready, and then doing the filming, okay? When that's complete, then I do the editing. And then when that's complete, or while I'm doing the editing, I do the cropping to get the little clips that I'm putting on my social media. So it's a full turnkey process, but it's just one at a time, one brick done very, very well, very, very well. If someone wanted to copy me or use AI, and it would lose the authenticity. You wouldn't see the same passion behind it. But more importantly, the whole premise of you pursuing personal development isn't for whatever goal that you have. And I want this to take a note on what I'm about to say. It's for the man or woman you become en route to your goal. That's the victory. So there's a good quote by Tony Robbins: life, it's not about what you get, it's about who you become and what you're able to give now that you've become more. Do you understand? So, and then there's another really good quote by Jim Rohn. It's also by Ivar the Boneless. Victory is all the better when it is hard won. Victory is all the better when it is hard won. Why? For what it makes of you to achieve it. As in, if you were going down a path, if you were stepping into the arena and your combatant, it was going to be an easy victory, an easy win, you wouldn't become anything as a result of persevering through that adversity, right? But if you had a worthy opponent that made you pretend like you're playing a sport, you're playing a sport against someone who's better than you. So they force you to run faster, move quicker, react faster. You're sharper, you're more present, you're more on, you're more, you have to level up just to compete, just to be on the court with this titan, right? Proverbially speaking. It's the exact same thing with whatever your arena is in life. Whatever hardship that you think you're going through and that don't perceive the obstructions and the adversity and the letdowns and the disappointments and the failures as happening to you. It's literally making you better. right? All of these failures, it's learning, right? Therefore, when you actually learn, you iterate, hey, what went wrong? Hey, how do I not make this mistake again? Hey, how can I improve? Then you go here. So in the book Principles by Ray Dalio, he talks about this upward spiral. That this is what people think success is like this. It's not. It's you try something, you fail, and then you iterate, you review feedback, you get feedback from your customers, you learn, you don't make that fucking mistake again, so you start at this higher level, right? So then you get to the B problems, and you do that same loop of try, fail, learn, and then you get to the C problems. So that's when people say, oh, these are really good problems to have. You know, when you have too much customers, too much clients, too much orders, and you don't have the manpower for fulfillment. Basic example. But does that make sense? Life is not about what you get, it's about who you become and what you're able to give now that you've become more. And then don't wish for an easy path, right? Don't wish for an easy victory. Hope for a hard path, right? For what it will make of you in order to achieve it. That's the victory. The man or woman you become, right? From embarking on this hero's journey, this noble quest of you closing the gap of who you are and the potential of who you can be. Why? By you becoming so much more. So having so much more intelligence, knowledge, wisdom of financial prosperity, of the physical transformation, of relationships and overcoming those problems. By you becoming so well versed in all of these fields, you have so much more value now to give to others, to help and impart on others. Does that make sense? So the more you give, another positive consequence, the more fulfillment you'll feel. You'll feel so much more happy. A perfect example how you can relate to this. How good do you feel when you buy yourself something? It's pretty good, right? A little bit of dopamine hit. How do you feel when you do something for somebody else? When you do a surprise for someone else? When you really put in so much effort into a gift that's very thoughtful, very considerate for someone else, how does their reaction of, oh my gosh, make you feel compared to you doing something for yourself, right? It's the sixth human need, which is contribution. So you'll be able to contribute more and therefore feel a lot better by you becoming more, right? The more you have to give. The more you give, the more you'll get. And therefore, the more you'll have now to give even more, right? All right, so all of that comes from what? One platform, one product, one service. Focus. And then this is the next part. And I put one part of the transformation taken on at a time. I learned this from Greg Plitt. And it's really good that I'm filming this now because we're in February. So anyone watching this, you may have had a body resolution, right? A New Year's resolution, a goal to get in a certain shape, perhaps. And we're in mid-February right now. This is a good time to iterate, to see what were my initial goals and what did I want as my routine, what did I want as my schedule, my training schedule, the cardio that I wanted to do, the supplements that I wanted to perfect, I said cardio program, my supplementation, my diet, my macros, my protein, my training, the progressive overload in my training, my weak points that I've identified. You have all of these things, the alcohol that you wanted to cut out, the 8 hours of sleep you wanted to get per day, the fucking mile that you wanted to run each morning, right? You have all of these goals to get into whatever your goal shape is. You know, I want to get shredded for the summer, whatever it is, right? And we do 1,000 things at once, and what happens? You can sustain that shit for maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then you'll burn the fuck out. And I've told this for clients that I've had for over 10 years. You won't quit on one thing, you will quit on everything. You'll say, fuck it, I'm done. You'll say, and you get this with people who think they can pay to hire a coach, to hire a trainer, to get out of the work. So they'll be upset when they don't get, 10 years of results in a matter of a month of actual work. Or they think that 1 month of work can undo 10 years of shitty habits, of sloth, of neglect, of garbage dieting, of alcohol and drug consumption, of sleep deprivation, of their hormones are fucked up, and they think that the correcting that imbalance just happens overnight, right? The best thing that you can do, and this is going to require some patience and some motherfucking humility, is do one thing at a time. Get a handle on one fucking thing, because I always tell this to my clients. I say, you can always add. We can always add more. You're at the gym, I can always add more weight. Humble your fucking self. Develop a foundation that we can then build off of, right? You're trying to build a cathedral. There's a quote from Robin Hood. He's like, the way you build a cathedral is from the ground up. But the premise is true. If you don't lay a solid foundation, then you cannot build anything on top of that, right? So when you're doing that for the physical transformation, if that's one of your goals, if that was one of your goals for 2025, get a handle on one fucking thing first, right? Number one, I would say the best thing that you can do is write down your goals with exacting specificity. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to achieve? How do you want to look? What dress size do you want to be in? How much do you want to weigh, right? What PR do you want? It's like, I want to curl 135. I want to squat 225. I want to bench, 315, whatever the fuck it is. Write it down, okay? Because unless, number one, you know where you want to go, we can't get there. So it's like you going into a car trying to get to a destination and you don't put the fucking destination. So if we don't have the destination of where we want to go, how can we get there, okay? And the other part is writing down where you are, how much you weigh right now, taking a before photo, not with high-waisted fucking leggings, all the way down, looking at yourself honestly, exactly how you are, right? Most people are too much of a pussy to take their before photos. And this applies to anything, not just the body. They have a great amount of fear for looking at what their bank balance is, their debts accrual of where they're at right now in terms of their debt balance, their body, their relationship status, all of these things. They're terrified to view the problem, which is yourself, when you look in the fucking mirror, right? And I learned this from Tony Robbins a long time ago. So you have your goal, right? You're putting into the GPS, where do I want to go? Then you put your starting point. If we're trying to get to a destination, you put that in your GPS, but you don't put where you are right now, then how is it going to navigate you, right? Because I could be going from LA. I could be trying to get to Canada from fucking San Francisco versus New York, right? Different paths to get here. You could be a fat fuck trying to get into a transformation. You could be very skinny and trying to get into this transformation. So your calories are going to be different based on your body type, based on your age, based on your metabolism, based on how many times you're going to the gym each week, right? If you need a cardio protocol, do you think the guy that's a stick needs a cardio program when he's trying to gain weight? Probably not. That's probably putting him into a needless caloric deficit, right? Little things like this is your starting point. So now we know where we are. We know where we want to go. The next thing is writing down and listing all of the habits that have gotten you to where you are now. All of the vices, all of the neglects, all of the drugs that you're consuming, all the alcohol that you're consuming, the fucking frequency of the parties that you're going to, the shitty people in your life you're still tolerating and permitting to be in your life, right? The negative influences, whether you're listening to the radio, you're watching the news, you're scrolling on fucking social media, absorbing, consuming so much garbage. Okay, all of these things we're identifying of why you're living the life you're living right now. Okay. And then you piece it together with the best plan that you have of how then can I help myself and be the most productive to get to where I want to go. Okay, so if I want to get to the peak health, maybe I need to cut out fucking alcohol. Maybe I need to stop doing drugs every week. Maybe I need to cut out these abusive, toxic, negative, depressed motherfuckers that are riddled, poisoning, plaguing my life. Okay, and then slowly but surely now you have a plan. But we don't want to overwhelm ourselves when we're starting a transformation. I'm tying this to physical, but you can apply this to any category. In terms of your financial development, in terms of your relational development, your spiritual development, one fucking thing at a time, right? I'm going to meditate every day. I'm going to go to church every day. I'm going to read the entire Bible in one day. Like, slow down, relax, be at ease. Hakuna motherfucking Matata, right? One thing, okay? So the first thing that I recommend when people are trying to do a transformation is just get a gym membership. That's your number one thing. No, I work out at home. No, you don't. You go to the gym. No, but my schedule. No. Go to a 24-hour gym. Oh, no, but I don't have access to that. Fucking, it's a 20-minute drive and I'm a parent. Quit being a bitch. Look at your daughter that you don't have the energy to play with and explain to them how that's okay, right? And it's very good when you're coaching parents or grandparents, you push the pain threshold. And especially, there was a good video, it was by Ed Milet, and he went to his doctor, and the guy asked him, this is what changed his entire life for his transformation, getting his health corrected. He said, how old is your daughter? Oh, she's about 19, 20 years old. He said, do you still want to be around when she is to be walked down the aisle? And then he was like, what the fuck? And then, he got really scared and dark. And of course and then the doctor said, if you continue down your path right now of this kind of neglect to your health, you won't be alive to walk your daughter down the aisle. And then that's the kind of fuel that you need to stop doing all the garbage that you're doing. It takes fucking tragedy for people to get their shit together. For people to stop taking this gift of a life, your gift of a body, your gift of health right now for granted. Okay. And that's another important thing, is having a strong enough why. But that's the first thing I always recommend. Get a fucking gym membership. Number 1. Go to the gym. Number 2. When you have a handle on that, you don't need to worry about how many sets, how many reps, what exercises. Just go to the fucking gym and get comfortable with consistency showing up at the gym. I don't give a shit if you do the stairs, if you just do cardio, if you just train upper body once a week, you saw, a little circuit from YouTube, doesn't fucking matter. We can always add, right? We can always build on your foundation. And this all ties in with the law of concentrating your focuses, concentrating your forces, getting a handle on one thing at a time, okay? Once you have your handle on your gym membership is purchased, you're consistent with showing up to the gym, then maybe it's time to figure out your diet. Your diet. I could break it down right now super quickly. And I haven't done this math in a minute, but this is incredible value for anybody watching this. Here we go. Say your goal is to lose weight, okay? You're gonna use this formula. Oh man. I have to be very articulate about this, because if you've never counted your calories, if you've never put yourself into a caloric surplus, if you've never, or deficit, if you've never, see, I can't make any mistakes when I say this, you won't be able to pick this up very easily. So I'm gonna say this as articulately as I possibly can, right? Here we go. You're gonna take your body weight, whatever your body weight is, the morning after you go to the bathroom. That's the most accurate and consistent, okay? The first thing in the morning after you go to the bathroom, you take that body weight, okay? You're gonna multiply it by 11. That's gonna give you one number. So I weigh 200 pounds. 200 pounds times 11, 2,200, okay? That is my static calories. That's how many calories it takes for me not to die, given all of my numbers, okay? But last time I checked, we don't do nothing. We're not lethargic, okay? So we have to account for our active calories. That's based on your age and your metabolism, okay? So you're gonna take that number and you're gonna multiply it by this multiplier, your metabolic rate multiplier. In your 20s, for a moderate metabolism, it is 0.4. In your 20s with a fast metabolism, it is 0.5. In your 20s with a slow metabolism, it is 0.3, okay? And then every decade after, it goes down by 0.05 in every category. For example, if you're 30 years old, I'm not gonna fuck this up. If you're 30 years old with a moderate metabolism, you would be what? 0.4 minus 0.05, so you'd be 0.35. If you're in your 30s with a slow metabolism, you would be what? 0.3 minus 0.05, so 0.25, okay? You're in your 30s with a fast metabolism. And then I'll explain what all those metabolisms mean. 30s in your fast metabolism, it's 0.5 minus 0.05, so it's 0.45, okay? We'll go to 40s. Your 40s watching this, okay? You have a moderate metabolism in your 40s. 0.4 minus 0.1, right? Because we lost 0.5 in our 30s, and we lost another 0.05 in your 40s. You've followed along. I didn't fuck that up too much, okay? I'll say all of them. In your 40s with a fast metabolism, 0.5 minus 0.1, okay? Because we lost 0.05 here and then 0.05 here. And then in your 40s with a fast, we already did fast, a slow metabolism, it's 0.3 minus 0.1, so it'd be 0.2. Got it? In your 50s, moderate metabolism is 0.4 minus 0.15. Okay. 50s, fast is 0.5 minus 0.15. Okay. And then slow, 0.3 minus 0.15, which would be 0.15. That's all of them. And then if you're over 50 in your 60s watching this, do the same fucking thing. So you take that number, your static calorie number, which was your body weight times 11, times your metabolic rate number. So for me, it's 2,200 times 0.4. Moderate metabolism in my 20s. I'm 29 right now. So I would get 2,200 times 0.4. We're gonna pull out the calculator. I'm gonna give you guys the formula here. Here we go. 2,200 times 0.4 is 880, okay? You're gonna take that number and you're gonna add them together. Your metabolic rate calories that multiplier that I just gave you, and your static calories. So then, plus 2200, that's 3,080. That is your golden number. Your golden number. Tark, what does my golden number mean? The amount of calories it takes to maintain your current body weight given your age and metabolic rate. Okay, so now we have our starting point right here, okay? So remember I said put in your GPS your starting point and where you wanna go? We got our starting point. We know where the fuck we are. Awesome, so now if you want to gain weight, you'd put yourself in a caloric surplus. If you wanna lose weight, you put yourself in a caloric deficit. Okay, before I get into that, how do you differentiate if you are fat, okay, we'll say fast, moderate, or slow. Slow metabolism, you're overweight, okay? You're overweight, call a spade a spade. You're very overweight, right? You look at food and you gain weight. Slow metabolism, fat. You got 50 pounds to lose, 100 pounds to lose, slow. Moderate, your body will fluctuate based on what you eat. You eat a little bit more, then you gain a little bit of weight. You eat a little bit less, you notice you lose your weight pretty easily. It's very fluctuating based on how much you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. Fast, you can't gain weight for the life of you. You gotta eat and eat and eat and you still can't gain weight. You consume a whole cake. I know a guy like this, his name's Iago, he's Brazilian. He eats garbage every day and he's as lean as not string bean, but as lean as you can be, right? That's a very fast metabolism, okay? So now you know your age, now you know your metabolism, now you know how to calculate your golden number. So Tarek, I want to get shredded. I want to get in the best shape of my life this year, 2025. I want to join Rat Life on this quest to becoming the best version of myself, right? To close the gap of who I am and the potential of who I can be, right? I want to escape the rat life with you, Professor. All right. 500 caloric deficit is what I recommend. Why? Why? This is how smart your body is. And this is why if you're consuming so much less than this number that you find, you're like, oh my gosh, 3,000 calories, that's my maintenance? No way, I'm consuming 1,000 and I can't lose weight. Let me explain to you what's happening. Your body is a lot smarter than you, very much smarter than you. You're dumb compared to your body. Your body, when you put yourself in these 1,000, 2,000 calorie caloric deficits, do you know what it thinks? It thinks you're dying. It thinks you no longer have access to food. So the brilliance of your own body, it will hold on to any stored body fat that you have. It'll slow down its own metabolism in the hopes to prolong your life long enough for you to soon have access to food. That's how fucking brilliant your body is. Okay, so the way that you counter that, the survival mechanism in your body, because your body doesn't want to be shredded. There's no benefit for you being 2% body fat, 3% body fat. It wants to have a little body fat on it. You know, it wants to carry that around, that stored energy for survival, right? Makes sense. So I recommend a 500 calorie deficit. Why? It's enough for you to slowly get linear progression when it comes to losing weight, but not too vast where you are shooting yourself in the foot and slowing down your own metabolism. Do you got it? So how do you make it so you don't plateau? You give yourself a refeed day, So it looks like this over time. You ready? So you have your calories nice, the highest possible that they can be to start, which is a 500 calorie deficit from your maintenance. And say you're a woman watching this, you're like, Tarek, and I did my maintenance calories and it's 2,200. I put myself in a 500 calorie deficit. It's 1,700. It's more than I've ever consumed in my life. You're gonna get used to that after a couple of weeks, but it's gonna take, especially if you haven't consumed a lot of calories, you have literally shrunk the organ of your stomach. So when you consume 1,700 calories, you're gonna feel so full. You're gonna be like, Tarek, you're the worst coach, you're the worst trainer ever, and I'm force feeding myself, surely I'm gonna gain all this kind of weight. No. We're correcting your fuck up. We're correcting your sabotage to your journey, right? From the conditioning that you've been made to believe that if I just eat less, then I'll lose weight, which conceptually makes sense. But what I just explained in terms of how your body reacts, how your body works on your behalf to prolong your life, you'll see that you've actually been doing yourself the greatest disservice by severely undereating. Women do this all the time. It's never a problem with men because men eat like shit. Men eat garbage. Men never put themselves in 2,000 calorie deficits like women do by eating these, rabbit food and sticks and, vegetables that have water in them for calories like lettuce and, the like, okay? 500 calorie deficit. The way that you do not plateau is you give yourself a refeed day. What is a refeed day? When you deplete yourself of glycogen, which is your fuel source from your carbohydrates They get converted into glycogen in your body. And you're depleting that by exhausting yourself in the gym on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Imagine you're driving a car and that's your gasoline. By the time you're getting to Saturday, gas tank is empty, okay? We need to replenish our glycogen, right? Our carb and food storage, our fuel source for the next week's training and depletion, okay? We're just filling up our car with gas. So what do I recommend for that? A 500 calorie surplus is what I recommend. So it looks like this. Say 3,000 is your maintenance, so you're doing a 2,500 deficit to start. It looks like this. You're going 2,500 day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And then I go from 2,500 to 3,500. Do you see? So that's 500 over surplus, over maintenance. Okay, hold on. You were in a 500 deficit from 3,000 to 2,500. This is just an example. Mine's 3,080, right? So I would do 500 over my maintenance, okay? So it's 1,000 calories more on the refeed day, okay? What does that look like linearly if you zoom out over a 16-week prep? 6 days deficit, 1 day surplus. 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 It's fucking linear progression over time. You never plateau. But Tarek, what if I do plateau? All right, I can give you more. You want more? Here's more. So we put our calorie ceiling as high as possible. Why? Because we can always reduce our calories over time. This gives us the highest ceiling to taper them down. So we have room to lower them over time. But if you're noticing that you're not getting the linear progression from this, you need to be increasing your activity or output. So that's when you introduce cardio. So when I structure a prep like I'm doing right now, I put myself in these caloric deficits to go down, 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 calorie-wise. And then as I'm going down, I'm increasing my cardio simultaneously. So right now I'm doing 15 minutes post-workout 3 times a week. By the time I'm done, I want it at an hour fasted in the morning and then an hour post-workout cardio 5 days a week. So do you see how I'm going from 45 minutes of cardio to, 10 hours? That's so much room to make sure, or so much activity to ensure that I never plateau. But if I were to fucking start at 5 hours or 10 hours of cardio from day one, where the fuck could I go by the end, right? Am I doing 60 hours of cardio each week? Huh? Right. So that's how you structure the perfect transformation. You want the highest possible ceiling so that you have room to taper down over time. Just like I said in the beginning, we can always add more, right? I can always give you more cardio. I can always give you less calories. I can always add. And I understand in calories that's, taking away, but you understand what I'm saying, right? We can always do more. Okay. So we get a handle on that, and that's how you achieve any progression, and you just do it until. You literally just follow that blueprint until you achieve your goal weight. And how am I so certain about that? If you put your body through enough fucking punishment, it'll transform. As in, if you're starting at your 3,000 calories and then you're consuming 1,800 calories, your body has no choice but to adapt because you're not allowing for an alternative. And when you're doing your training on top of that, progressive overload on top of that, and you're adding cardio on top of that, and you're getting full sleep, and you have great supplementation, you constantly add more fuel to that fire until you have 4 months have gone by and you're just like, holy shit, look where I am now compared to where I started. It's the importance of taking the before photos. It's the importance of smiling in the before photos. If you don't smile in your before photos, you believe that the before is forever. But if you believe this was fucking temporary, then you would have no qualms smiling in the before because you knew this was not going to be who you're going to look like 4, 5, 6 months from now. And the reason that I always tell people, all my clients, any past person I've worked with, is by you smiling in the before, that's you harnessing the greatest amount of belief within the success cycle. So therefore, from the jump, you tap into the most potential, you take the most action, you'll get the most results. Why? Because you believe in the end. And I learned this from Greg Plitt. If you do not believe in the fucking destination of the journey that you're about to embark on, you shouldn't even start. Because it's too hard. It's too hard. You will fail. You'll have to drag your ass to the gym. It's the importance of getting a partner to show up on the days that you don't want to, for that accountability. And if you don't have that fuel in the tank from the jump, it's too fucking hard of a journey. And you know this if you didn't have the proper fuel from January to now and you had these physical goals and transformations that you want to achieve and accomplish, that you've burnt out, that there's no more gas in the tank. There's no fire underneath you. There's no pull motivation because all you relied on was push, push, push. So I hope that helps. And if you have further questions, DM me on Instagram, Tarek Hawks, and I'm happy to help. Because, it's not just about a transformation when you're getting to the best shape of your life, dude. It's the confidence from keeping all these promises to yourself. It's the amount of energy and vitality that you have to then now apply to any other category in your life, including the effort that you give into your relationships, including the passion, presence, excitement, enthusiasm that you're putting into the relationship with your fucking children, with your siblings, with your wife, right? You not filling your cup is very selfish to everybody else. Why? For what I said earlier. You could be giving more, but you're choosing not to. So you're a selfish motherfucker by not taking care of yourself. People will, criticize you saying that what you're doing is very selfish. No. It's the most selfless thing you can fucking do. Why? Because by you becoming more, you have so much more now to give other people. Okay. It's the importance of taking care of yourself. It's the importance of concentrating your focus, your forces. I keep fucking up the law. Getting a handle on one thing at a time, right? If I were to bombard you with saying, okay, do all of this, your first day of doing a transformation. You're going to be on 5-day-a-week training. You're going to be doing cardio fasted in the morning and post-workout 5 days a week. And we're going to make sure that you're hitting your macros, getting those exact calories that I discussed from your deficit days and your refeed days. And then where you're going to be doing these supplements, all of these, taking creatine every day, you're doing all these things. And 8 hours of sleep, and you've always been consuming alcohol, no alcohol today. You've been doing all these drugs and smoking, none of that shit anymore. How fucking long do you think you could sustain that? Not very, right? But if we did one thing at a time and you humbled your fucking self, right? You took your ego and you checked it at the fucking door and you said, I'm gonna do this for the long run. I'm not gonna do this for a month or 2 months. No, I'm gonna commit to this for life, Why? Because I'm a very selfless person. I'm not doing this for my fucking self. I'm doing this for everybody else that I could be giving more to that I'm choosing not to. Right. And the beauty about it isn't in the fucking destination. It's not in you having a six-pack getting shredded. You won't give a fuck about that at time's end. What you'll have is such a great pride of the man or woman that you became by time's end. And that's the premise of what I said earlier. It's not about the goal. It's about who you become. Right? Somebody who's disciplined, consistent, patient, has the greatest heart, knows how to overcome failure, knows how to be alone, knows what perseverance is, knows what showing up on the days they don't want to, what that means, right? Those are all the virtues that you can't buy. Can't go to a fucking store and buy perseverance and work ethic and a never say die attitude. That has to be fucking earned from sweat equity, from your work ethic, from your output, from the fire that you gift yourself by having the right fuel in the tank to embark and see this journey to fruition. With that, the last thing you might be wondering is, Tark, what do I do with my protein? I recommend think about what your goal body weight is. That's a good reflection of what I'm about to say. A good rule of thumb is to do 1 gram per lean pound of body weight. So if you're right now I'm lean at 200, a good one for me is 200 grams of protein. I like to err on 1.25. So right now I'm consuming, if you include my Greek yogurt, it's 262 grams of protein that I'm consuming every day. It's just a personal preference. But try to get at least 1 gram per lean body weight. If you're 150 pounds overweight, and so you're weighing 300 pounds, when your body weight, your normal, you at your dream weight is 150, no, don't consume 300. Lean body weight. So you'd be consuming 150 grams of protein. And then on your refeed day, this last thing, this is most important, your protein will go down. Don't focus on protein for the 7th day, your refeed day, which shouldn't change. Just do the same refeed day every week, right? So imagine you're going down the roller coaster and then you're refueling, right? Think of your refeed day as you getting gas for your tank every week. You want all of your calories to come from carbohydrates, the vast majority. So you're not consuming fats on this day. You're not worrying about getting 150 grams of protein this day. Focus on carbohydrates on that day, okay? Because that'll give you replenished fuel, gas, for the week to come. All right, that's the A to Z of one part of the transformation taken at a time. And it's so cool being in the position where you learn and you acquire, your wisdom and knowledge from your path and following your journey and following the path that people like Greg Plitt have laid for you to, follow and embark on. And now it comes time for you to no longer just be the student, but be that beacon, holding that torch, right? Holding that beacon of light for others now to follow. And that's the cool thing about not about what you get, about who you become, because now I'm in a position to help other people, right? With their physical transformation, with their spiritual enlightenment, soon with their financial prosperity, right? How? By me becoming the man that I'm becoming, right? And understanding that that's the prize. and embracing that as truth, right? As my personal philosophy. It's not about what I get, it's about the man that I become along the way, who now can give so much more because I've become so much more. Got it? So if you have any questions about that, if you're trying to get in the best shape of your life, message me. I'm happy to help you. And the last thing that I'll say, it's not a plug for you to pay me anything, but some people, what they need is financial accountability. And I've learned that from over a decade of training people, that people who lack commitment and lack accountability, they can't show up on their own. You need financial accountability. I can speak to this for myself personally, that unless I'm invested in something, otherwise I won't show up on the days that I don't want to. For example, say you hire a trainer, right? A personal trainer, and you're spending, $70 or $100 per training session. The narrative and the rhetoric changes from, well, I have to go now. Otherwise I'm wasting money. So if you lack discipline and personal accountability of doing something on your own, or you tried to do something on your own forever, think about how much it would be worth the investment within yourself. And that's not to say that I'm interested in taking you on as a client by any means, or that I'm the right coach for you. But this is something that to think about. If you lack investment in something and you've never been able to see something through, you have to commit yourself in a certain way. So whether that's getting a partner that you go to the gym with, whether that's paying somebody to force your ass and drag your ass to the gym and put you through a workout, or just the accountability of having, like, what I would do is do online coaching with people. Whatever is going to keep you consistent. Any fucking avenue that you take to achieve consistency works, is a success. So find out what that is for you. What is it going to require for you to commit and for you to see the fucking journey through? All right, is that hiring tar calcs? It could be. Here we go. Next, so the law number 23 is concentrate your forces. From the book, we live in a world of distraction and diffusion. Distraction and diffusion. Single-mindedness of purpose, total concentration of the goal, and the use of these qualities against people less focused, people in a state of distraction, such an arrow will find its mark and overwhelm the enemy every time. It's so true. If you're doing a scatter shot, right, it's not as potent as the one who has a fucking sniper, right? Which one is going to be more deadly, right? The guy doing a scatter shot, right? Dave Chappelle, he did stand up. That's buckshot. Is that going to be more deadly? Is that going to get you your kill, your goal achieved, or hyper focus, hyper magnification, hyper intensity on your target, on your goal, on your vision, right? Okay. Be a sniper. Don't be a scattered shotgun shot. Okay. I didn't even write that, but that's a perfect analogy. I put Abraham Lincoln's, what he attributes for his success, and I'll reiterate it. It's from this book, Acres of Diamonds, which is in the university. It's focusing all of your attention on a single task until it's complete. Until is the secret word. Until it's complete, and then you move on. Jim Rohn articulates it like this. When you're at work, work. When you're playing, play. Don't play at work, and don't do work while you're playing, right? Wherever you are, be there. Be present, be focused, commit to completing this task before moving on to a next one. People say, oh, I'm a great multitasker. That doesn't exist. That's not a thing. You're very good at switching very quickly from task to task. And so when you measure this, you're actually doing both tasks more poorly than you otherwise would if you focused on a single one. Okay. Seduction. Oh, and I put in all caps, or in a squared box before we get into seduction. Concentrate on a single task until completion. So it's exactly what I just said. Seduction. So this is very important. Giving yourself completely to a single woman. It was the story of Casanova, one of the greatest seducers of all time. All in. And I put the power in 100% presence and admiration and pursuit and conviction and certainty on you. So I can attest from this personally. When you give, and you could resonate with this if you're a girl that's been pursued or if you're a guy who's pursued, right? Or you could be a woman who pursues. You want to stay away from those. But it goes like this, right? If I give a woman my undivided attention, I'm hanging on to her every fucking word, right? I make her feel so significant, so valued. I sell her on the premise that I'm sold on her. Nobody else fucking exists. I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I'm here talking to you. I'm so enchanted by the mere existence of you and all that you're sharing with me. And I just evoke that admiration, that respect, that, you know, joy, that ecstasy, that, oh my God, right? Wow. How does that get received versus the guy that's talking to her, and then while she's talking to him, he's looking at the other crop, right? He's looking at the other girls. He's looking at his other options. When you treat somebody and you give the vibe that they're an option, they should leave your fucking ass like you and show you the option that you are. I know I butchered that, but it's so important when it comes to knowing your value, when it comes to relationships. When motherfuckers don't treat you like a priority, leave them like an option that they are, period. And then put them in your fucking rear view and don't look back, right? Okay. How often do we entertain motherfuckers and disrespect ourselves in the process of people who treat us like an option, right? And then we make them a priority. They leave you unseen, they take months to reply to you, and yet you instantly reply to them, and you double text and triple text them. It goes like this. When you do all of these disrespects to yourself, okay, your self-confidence, self-worth, self-image will go down. Your need for validation, recognition, and approval from this other person will go up. So if you find yourself, you know, lusting for validation from somebody, ask yourself why. If you find yourself not being able to let somebody go, and you caring so much about their response, or if they're going to reply to you or send you a text today, ask yourself why. If you find yourself building this attachment in a negative way, not you have attachment, not love for this person, not mutual and healthy joy and connection and communication. No, I'm attached to this person that if I don't have them, I'm not whole. No, very unhealthy, not a good place to be. Because then what you're doing is you're trying to fill a void. You're like, I need this person for me to be happy, for me to have fulfillment, for me to be validated. So this is a good, when we talk about iteration, right? So it's just important food for thought that we are aligning with an ideology and a philosophy, I hope you are if you're in this university, of not watering these dead fucking plants, of these weeds, right? And I'm speaking on my experience from modern dating. If you feel like somebody is distant, but then they'll send you a message, every once in a while, what they're doing is keeping you on a fucking roster. A roster. Professor Tarek, what is a roster? Billy, let me tell you what a roster is. Roster is when they have 1, 2, 3, up to fucking 12 selects. And if their starters aren't available, then they'll go to here. But they don't want these people who are here on the bench, who are never going to see the light of day so long as these three, aren't preoccupied. They need to keep the interest of these people. So they'll hit you with a hey, now and then. And so what are you doing? You're giving them attention when they're not reciprocating in the slightest to you. You're disrespecting yourself by allowing yourself to be a fucking option and making them a priority. Get the fuck off the bench. Take yourself off the clearance rack. Go back behind the fucking showroom glass where your ass belongs. Do you understand? And you'll find this. When you stop disrespecting yourself, people will feel uncomfortable coming to you with disrespect. They'll come fucking correct because they know this is a guy who doesn't tolerate this bullshit, who doesn't entertain it. Oh, this is a guy who respects himself. Okay. So if you find yourself like I did for years of being disrespected in this by other people, and it wasn't me, I didn't understand that. I had put myself on the clearance rack. It wasn't their fault. It was for the behavior that I was fucking tolerating from these motherfuckers. So I was to blame. I was tolerating and therefore permitting their behavior. But, good quote, if you don't want to get disrespect from other people, simply don't tolerate it. Be a man who doesn't tolerate disrespect. And the way that you can, that's the easiest way to elicit respect from others. And then you'll see your world, you'll see yourself become a co-creator of your world, right? Oh, I'm no longer tolerating disrespect. Oh, more people are respecting me. More people are valuing what I have to say, right? They're actually listening. They're, it's just, it stacks. It really does. And where does the foundation of that come? How does that begin? Knowing your fucking value, remembering your value, not allowing yourself anymore to be treated like a fucking option to these motherfuckers, right? And you find yourself in that state of lack, in that state of severe attachment, in that state of severe fucking pedestal. Oh my God, I need this person's validation. You have idolized them now at this point, right? You're so terrified to let go, to move on, to say, get the fuck out of here, right? Good quote. once you remember your value, you'll be embarrassed at the shit you once settled for. So I always tell people, when the fuck are you going to start getting embarrassed, right? It's about time. It's about time. Because if you heard your pathetic fucking story that you're telling me, you would feel some amount of shame of this. You'd feel about disgraced about what you've been tolerating. And it's no problem. Like, I don't say that with judgment or condemnation. We've all been there, dude. When you're so emotionally invested in something, you don't understand all the disrespect that you're doing because you're not viewing it, I don't want to butcher these words, subjectively. You're viewing it very objectively. It's only when you're emotionally detached, you're a third party, right, listening in, and you have no emotional investment into the, circumstance, then you can hear the pathetic, you can hear the petty, you can hear the desperation, it's clear as day. But when you're so buried in the trees, right, you're so emotionally invested in this, you can't see the forest, right? You're seeing it through a veil. Your vision is clouded. You know the feeling when you finally get emotionally over someone and then you're like, what the fuck did I see in them? That's when you've remembered your value, right? That's when you've healed and you've grown and you get this sort of disgust and bitterness about all of the garbage behavior that you've been tolerating for so long. But again, I can't reiterate this enough. It comes from one of Jim Rohn's books. I think it's My Philosophy for Successful Living, but here's his Seasons of Life. Here's his Philosophy for Successful Living. Do not use the past as a baton to beat yourself to death with. So that's why when we talk about Tarek Hawks, I'm not coming to you with criticism that's not conducive to your benefit. Condemnation or judgment, that doesn't achieve anything. Who gives a fuck? We've all made mistakes, right? But if we don't identify those mistakes, then we can't move on. We can't grow. We can't overcome them. Okay. So don't use the past as a baton to beat yourself to death with. Use it as a tool to learn from. We all make mistakes. We all fuck up. We all, pedestal. Any guy watching this is pedestaled. Any guy watching this has double texted. They've, set the framework of a potential relationship by tolerating another person's disrespect, right? So when you learn from this, when you iterate it, then when you go into a new potential relationship, then you'll set the framework of being the guy who the precedent is, I'm not a guy who tolerates disrespect, okay? So then the only people who can come into this, this science experiment, this litmus test, is if you want to be in this relationship, right, in this interaction, you have to check your disrespect at the door. That's the cost of entry. If I'm the bouncer, right, and my world is a reflection of my standards, then to be in my world, you simply have to be kind, loving, considerate, offer yes and encouragement and support, make me feel confident being myself, effortless to love, comfortable in my own skin. I know it's a lot to ask in this fucking world that we live in, right? Basic etiquette, basic consideration. I know it sounds like such a stretch, right, to just be a good fucking person, but that's my standard, right? If you want to come in and disrespect me, you can go fuck yourself. But I don't say that. I say you can't come into my garden, right? I'm not the kind of gardener who has an interest in inviting pesticides and weeds and disease. Why? Because I'm a very selfless person. I'm thinking about my other flowers. I'm thinking about all these people that I love in my life. How selfish would it be of me to invite this fucking disease into here and then plague all of these other relationships? And I've said this before. If you invite garbage and poison and just negativity into your life, you won't be able to harbor gratitude for the people who are fucking stoked to be in your life, who are stoked to have you as a friend, who value you, who honor you, who think you're just the fucking best thing since sliced bread. You won't have that same love for these people so long as you're inviting all these fucking weeds and pesticides and disease and afflictions and plagues. Okay. Does that make sense? Do you see how that ties in with seduction? Do you see how all the better to treat someone like a priority, right? And have that mutual respect versus allowing yourself to be treated like a fucking option, like a rag on the clearance rack to be used and discarded at a whim. Okay. Conservation of energy, following your excitement. Okay. I learned this from Bashar, the entity that this awesome guy, this has to be the most knowledge and wisdom I have ever been gifted to learn. You're trying to achieve your maximum potential, right? Your fulfillment, your purpose. The game is this is how the mechanism works. Follow your excitement. Follow your excitement. Even if your excitement is just a little more, a fraction more, follow that. Lean into that, right? What would you do if money wasn't an issue, right? Where would you go without your limiting beliefs, without your fucking excuses? What would you do? Oh, I would read more, do that. Oh, I'd vlog and I'd film, do that, right? Oh, I'd go to the gym, do that. And he says, the path is going to look like this, right? When you lean into your excitement. And he said this, and I love this. But it's actually the straightest line into getting it to your heart's desire. When you surrender to the flow, to the current, you'll get to your destination 100 times faster than you inviting all this fucking resistance, all this ego, all this entertaining shit that doesn't serve you, right? Relationships that don't serve you. Your ego, like I did when I was pursuing all these rat life jobs, where I tied in my worth and my validation to me earning 6 figures. And it took God giving me fucking over 10 interview rejections for me to, cast that limiting belief aside that, no, you are enough without this rat life title. And then when you actually introspect, you're like, who the fuck am I trying to impress with this elevated rat life title, right? Oh, congratulations, I'm a successful slave within the rat life. Who the fuck am I trying to impress? So I was doing I was just resistance versus having the courage to let go, to surrender to the current where I'm at right now, dude. I'm under investigation right now within my organization. I don't feel any lack whatsoever. They could tell me tomorrow that, hey Tarek, you're fired. It's no problem. I am 100% sold on the conviction. I have the conviction, the resolve that God is going to provide for me. I'm in a perpetual state of abundance that none of these motherfuckers can take away from me, right? My 3D reality will reflect abundance by that belief system. From what we learned in As Man Thinketh. As you think, so you are. I don't live in a state of fucking lack anymore. That was a gift given to me by God and by the circumstance that I endured from work. Does that make sense? So when you follow your excitement, when you lean into your passion, when you have the courage to pursue, when you surrender, right? Not the fucking ego, you check that shit at the door, but you surrender to the current. You allow life to unfold for you in real time. You're present, right? You're passionate. You'll get to your destination, your heart's desire, right? Your purpose, your calling, your mission, your fucking dream relationship, whatever, the fastest. When you're doing a physical transformation, when you humble your fucking self and you do one thing at a time, you get a handle, a mastery on one thing, you'll get to your destination the fastest because you won't be giving up constantly. You won't be throwing in the towel on everything. You handle one, handle another, you'll get here the fastest than if you take on everything at once. Battery's gonna die, 1 sec. I splash water on my face because I'm sweating in this excitement and passion and enthusiasm for this lecture. But does that make sense? It all comes from you forfeiting ego. You forfeiting your motherfucking arrogance. The fastest way for you to get to where you want to go is by you letting go, you relaxing, calming down, removing lack, allowing yourself to be gifted in the presence, in a state of abundance. Then you'll see life literally unfold for you. You'll see the universe and God conspire to help you get exactly where it is that you want to go. It comes from you humbling yourself, forfeiting your ego, right? Healing, you looking yourself honestly in the mirror where you are, why you're where you are right now, right? You having accountability and ownership, dude, this is your fault. Not in a negative way, not in a, put myself in the fucking ground way, right? This is my fault, no problem. Ownership, right? Accountability, all the masculine virtues that we're exalting if you're in this university. But you know what? What's to come, that's my fault too. Wow, it's so simple. That comes from you casting your ego to the side. You go to the gym, relax on the weight, dude. We can always add more weight. You're doing a transformation, relax on doing 30 things at once. We can always add more, right? Let me humble myself. Let me listen to Tarek's advice. Let me put my calories way up here. Let me not do any cardio from the start so I have the highest ceiling to taper down over time. Because if I start at 500 fucking calories, what the hell am I consuming by week 16? No, let me start at 2,500. Let me start at 3,000. Then I have room to taper down, right? I have nowhere to go if I don't give myself that ceiling. Does that make sense? So, such a good reminder and philosophy and food for thought within this university is to cut the fucking ego, dude. We're all here to get better. We're all here to heal, to improve, right? To iterate. We're not here to shit on each other. We're not here to fucking condemn each other or judge each other. This is a beautiful garden. A beautiful garden. We're here to help and encourage and support and motivate and inspire and hold accountable and help each other on the fucking path to freedom where we're all trying to go, right? We're all trying to just walk each other home. Okay. So that's how you'll be able to conserve your energy, concentrating your forces, following your excitement. It'll look like this, like, oh, I'm going the roundabout path. No. You surrendering to the flow, the current of your nature's design following your excitement. It'll get you to where you want to go the fastest, which is what? It's not pieces of fucking paper. You don't want money. You want freedom. You want options. You want that emotion that you think the money is going to elicit, right? You want to be free. At least that's what I want. I don't know what you want. I want to wake up any day like I'm doing right now and do whatever the fuck I want to do, right? If tomorrow was going to be my last day, I would spend it exactly how I'm doing today. I'd wake up, I'd water my garden, right? I had a great phone call with one of my angels, my angel of a mentor, and I went to the gym and I put only nourishing food into my body. I read this morning. I, wrote this morning. I filmed as I'm doing right now. And it's just nourishment, and it's just personal development, it's just healing, and it's just growth, and it's just watering that. It's just me filling my own cup. Do you know what I'm saying? So that comes from you checking your ego. It comes from that fucking arrogance and all this front, all this needless front that people utilize to master insecurities. Fuck all that. Own it. Own whatever it is, dude. Look at yourself in the mirror. Take those before photos without the high-waisted bullshit. Without you covering it all up. See yourself exactly where you are right now. Write down your bank balance. Write down your debt balance, right? Write down how long you've been single for. Or have the courage to dream big when you write down what your goals are, right? I want this relationship. I want this income, this freedom, this, physique. Give yourself permission to fucking dream, dude. And then once you give yourself permission that you're worthy of these things, then you are. It took me, I can speak for this personally, a long time to give myself permission to be worthy, that I am worthy, right? A long time to give myself permission that I'm worthy. Of what? Love. Worthy of freedom. Worthy of prosperity, of abundance, right? Worthy of compliments and words of affirmation, right? When you're conditioned for a lifetime under the premise by the omission of those things from other people, you think you don't deserve it. You think you're not worthy of it. And that's the belief system that gets solidified. So we're all here to get better, man. We're all here to improve. We're all here to heal, to grow, to close the gap who we are, potential who we can be, to escape the fucking rat life, man, in any category. Your rat life with your body that you're unhappy with, your freedom and financial status that you're unhappy with, or your relationship that you're not happy with, or your relationship with God. It's actually the straightest line when you follow your excitement. Letting go of all resistance, allowing for the slow, unrushed unfolding. That's exactly what happens. That's when you do that and you just relax and calm down, you'll literally see in real time God's pace and God's timing. It's like this. It's very, very slow. And it's so enjoyable and it's so peaceful. But we lose that in the rush, in the grind, in the hustle. It's so backwards. If you go to places like Albania, or you go to places like Africa, it moves so much slower. It's on God's time. They literally call it that in Uganda. I had a friend who worked there, did volunteer work over there. They call it God's time, as in we're not fucking rushed. We could die tomorrow. We're living the day, right? In the day-to-day rat life grind, you're working in a fucking office for 9 hours under LED lights, and you're commuting in traffic to a place that you hate, in a car that you hate, in a relationship that you're settled and unhappy with, and it's not full of passion. That is death, and you'll find yourself not in alignment or in harmony whatsoever with God, with who you truly are, with your purpose, with any of that. But you can see right now from this video of me being gifted the removal from the rat life, how peaceful I feel, and the amount of peace that I'm radiating right in this video. That comes from being in alignment with God, being aligned with God's pace, his unrushed pace. Just like, dude, we're going to get all that you want to get. All of those dreams, they're all going to come true. Just relax. We're going to get there, no problem, right? The fastest way to get there is just to calm down, just to relax. Go with the flow. Follow your excitement, right? Cut the fucking ego and arrogance, dude. You're only doing yourself a disservice. It'll actually get you to your heart's desired destination the quickest. Let go, flow. And then I put choose your enemies wisely, Kobe's kill list, and then concentrate on a single goal, a single task until. So in terms of law number 23, concentrating your forces. In this book, which I haven't read yet, but it's Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet-David, I did see the interview that he did with Kobe Bryant. And he said, how did you start? How did you become successful as a basketball player? He said, I had a kill list. So in his preliminary league, he had the list of all the top players, and they were all ranks. And he was way down here on the list. And he went one by one, and he fucking beat these people by studying his opponent, by focusing and concentrating all of his forces, right? On, I'm just gonna dominate this guy. I'm just gonna study him. I'm gonna be a student. I'm gonna see his weaknesses. And he said, I look at the player and I size them up. How do you approach the game? Are you silly about it? Are you good just because you're bigger and stronger than everybody else? You hit puberty early, or is there actual skill involved? And so when he would identify their weaknesses, then he would know how to exploit them. And then he would know what he needed to work on in order to overtake this person. And so by doing that, he did that until, right, focusing on a single task, which his was the elevation of these ranks, until he was number one. So that's the whole premise of the power of magnification, the power of taking yourself off the clearance rack, putting yourself in the fucking showroom behind the glass where your sexy ass belongs, right? Remembering who the fuck you are, remembering your value, being embarrassed at shit you once settled for, fucking setting a standard of the garbage behavior, the option, right, precedent that you're no longer fucking tolerating in this new season, right? So that's the game, dude. That's the game. So that's rat life. Anyone can escape, dude. Anyone can live free. We can all have our dream physique. It's easy. Follow the formula that I gave you. Anyone can escape. It starts with belief and the courage to pursue, right? I'm pursuing my dream every fucking day now, and I love it, right? Rat life, we are all gonna make it. That's law number 23. Concentrate your forces. Be that magnifying glass and get it fucking done. See you guys tomorrow.